The current precious metals price environment is having a massive impact on the earnings of producers this week. And one of the top names in silver is no exception to this. First Majestic Silver this week posted record Q4 financial results. The quarter saw a revenue bump of 18%. Mine operating earnings were up 69%. EBITDA improvements of 68%, and perhaps the most important figure of all, free cash flow was up an astounding 119%. Oh, and that new mining facility of theirs, First Mint, has seen sales growth of 230% quarter over quarter. You're going to want to see these results. Let's dive in. The fourth quarter of 2024 was a banger for First Majestic. The company posted top-line revenue of $172 million, up from $146 million in the third quarter, a 26% increase year over year from $137 million. The increase here can be partly attributed to the rising price of both silver and gold, with the average realized price per silver equivalent ounce hitting $30.80 in Q4, up from $29.84 in Q3, while jumping 27% from $24.16 in the same period last year. This revenue growth led to mine operating earnings of $48 million, which improved 69% quarter over quarter and 169% year over year, from $28.5 million and $18 million respectively. First Mint, which is the company's wholly owned minting facility, meanwhile, saw revenue growth of 237% on a quarter-over-quarter basis, recording quarterly sales of $9.1 million in Q4. Net losses, which were largely driven by non-cash foreign exchange and a deferred income tax charge and not from operations, improved from $27 million or 9 cents per share in the third quarter to $13.5 million or $40,000 in the fourth quarter. Net income was stronger on an adjusted basis, excluding those non-cash items, with First Majestic posting adjusted EPS of 3 cents per share in the fourth quarter versus a loss of 3 cents per share both last quarter and last year. Adjusted EBITDA improved a whopping 63% on a quarter-over-quarter basis, going from $40 million to $65 million, while free cash flow more than doubled, jumping from $31 million last quarter to $68 in Q4. For the full fiscal year, revenue hit $561 million, nearly on par with the $574 million recorded in 2023, despite shutting down Jarrett Canyon in March of 2023, while mine operating earnings jumped 259% from $26 million to $92 million. Adjusted net earnings for the full year totaled negative $42 million, or 14 cents per share, as compared to negative $24 million, or 8 cents per share in 2023. For the full year, operating cash flow before changes in working capital and taxes climbed to $139 million, a 40% increase from the $99 million recorded in 2023. First Majestic ended the year with a treasury of $308 million, consisting of both cash and restricted cash, while working capital sits at $225 million. This is after returning $5.3 million to shareholders in the form of dividends in 2024, while the company also started share buybacks in December. A total of 50,000 shares were repurchased beginning in December, at an average price of $7.81 a share, while CEO Keith Neumeyer said on the conference call that repurchases have continued through January and February, saying that these share prices are pretty ridiculous. All right, let's get into some of the production details. First Majestic saw quarter-over-quarter growth, not just in their financials, but in their production results as well. The fourth quarter saw 5.7 million silver equivalent ounces produced, which was a 4% improvement over the 5.5 million silver equivalent ounces produced in the prior quarter. Silver production was a major driver behind this increase, with Q4 seeing 2.4 million silver ounces produced, which was a 20% bump over the 2 million produced in Q3. Gold production was down slightly to 40,000 ounces versus the prior 42,000 ounces. That increased production came at a lower cash cost, with cash cost per silver equivalent ounce declining 9% quarter over quarter, from $15.17 to $13.82 an ounce. All-in sustaining costs declined as well, falling 3% from $21.03 to $20.34 an ounce. Total production costs on a per-ton basis were down to just $96.63, as compared to $109.81 in the prior quarter and $122.76 in the prior year. For the full fiscal year, First Majestic produced 21.7 million silver equivalent ounces, meeting the guidance range of 21.4 to 22.6 million silver equivalent ounces. Production in 2024 consisted of 8.4 million silver ounces, along with 157,000 ounces of gold, thanks in part to record production levels at Santa Elena, where they broke through the 10 million silver equivalent ounce mark. All-in sustaining costs for the full year totaled $21.11 per silver equivalent ounce, which came in at the upper end of the guidance range. 2025 is set to be a transformational year for First Majestic. Why? Because in January, they closed on the nearly $1 billion purchase of Gato Silver, which had a 70% interest in the 103,000-hectare Cerro Los Gatos complex in Chihuahua, Mexico. For context, the mine last year produced 15.6 million silver equivalent ounces on a 100% basis, with over half of that production being silver. Broken down, it produced 9.7 million silver ounces, 69.7 million pounds of zinc, 46.4 million pounds of lead, and 5,500 ounces of gold. It's a powerhouse, and it's expected to increase First Majestic silver production by nearly 70%. Oh, and it's a low-cost producer that will materially boost mine operating earnings and free cash flow. Production for 2025 has been guided to be between 27.8 to 31.2 million silver equivalent ounces, which on a midpoint basis is an increase of 36%. The upper end of guidance, meanwhile, is pushing the company towards record levels of production. First Majestic now has 3 district-scale mines in the portfolio for 2025. San Dimas is expected to be the biggest contributor this year, with midpoint production of about 9.6 million silver equivalent ounces, while Los Gatos is expected to contribute about 8.9 million equivalent ounces. And Santa Elena will add a further 8.2 million ounces or so, while La Encantada will be responsible for about 2.9 million silver equivalent ounces. Across the board, cash costs are expected to be in the range of $14.10 to $14.86 an ounce, while all-in sustaining costs on a consolidated basis are expected to be in a range of $19.89 to $21.27 per silver equivalent ounce. On a midpoint basis, AISC is expected to drop about 3% on a year-over-year basis. Capital guidance for 2025, meanwhile, envisions $182 million in expenditures for 2025, consisting of $80 million to be spent on sustaining capital and $102 million put towards growth capital. Exploration expenditures included under growth capital are estimated at $49 million, with that price tag to include 270,000 meters of drilling this year, 112,000 of which is said to be conducted at San Dimas. Okay, so let's wrap it up. The fourth quarter of 2024 was a record for First Majestic, with the rising precious metals environment the driving force behind enhanced cash flows. And the price of silver is up by nearly $3 an ounce from price levels seen in Q4, which bodes well for continued cash flow and earnings growth for the company. As for 2025, the addition of Gato Silver is set to catapult First Majestic's production profile forward, placing it firmly among the top publicly listed silver producers globally. Don't be shocked if we see more records set in the quarters to come. All right, everybody, thanks for watching. We are in the middle of earnings season. If there's other names you want us to cover, let us know in the comment section. Also, as always, if you enjoyed this content, please give us a like and share our content. Thanks for watching, everyone.